in the know.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Country people, we dey thank una one that joined us on top News on the Hour for Plus TV Africa.
This na number 63 Massey Street for Itafaji, where building just collapsed by 10 a.m. this morning.
They say the Oga of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, don't tell federal government say if they provoke him, it go cause wahala for inside the country.
Because if the British citizen no be say you go enter Nigeria, come cause kasala, run go Britain, go stay in peace.
Them say na the diesel truck catch fire as they try offload the diesel way dey inside. Come out, fire department come.
As annulled its primary elections, apparently there has been some form of trouble in paradise, and the men of the Nigeria Customs Service have been accused of extrajudicial killings in the towns of Ogun State borders. This is Plus Politics, and I am Mary Anna Cohn.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
It was Rivers and Zamfara states in February, and now it looks like it's the turn of Bayelsa State to be found wanting in fielding a candidate for the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC. The Federal High Court sitting in the state capital, Yenagoa, had annulled the direct primary conducted by the All Progressive Congress's APC that produced Chief David Leon as the governorship candidate of the party. Now, this means that the party has no candidate in the elections that is supposed to take place in a couple of days. The Electoral Commission, while reacting to this new development, had said the election will go on despite the disqualification of the APC candidate. And joining me in the studio to discuss this is a legal practitioner, Noble Obasi. Thank you very much, Noble, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So, it seems like the APC keeps making the same mistakes over and over again. And this has come to light because a certain Heineken Lokboberi took this case to court, citing the irregularities in the conduct of the primaries. From a legal perspective, play this out for us.
Okay, so
what the courts has just said is that APC cannot field any candidates for the election. So it's not a strange occurrence in the Nigeria political scenario, because way back as early as I think during the fourth or the fifth Republic, during the fourth or the fifth Republic. Okay, so in Imo State at some point, PDP, there was a time in Imo State at some point where PDP said that they would not field any candidate, and as a result of that, I think PPA, that's a former governor Ikedo Hakim, won the election. And coming closer to our time now, during this election, during this past election, we saw Zamfara State, where the court held similar ruling that APC has no candidate for the election, and also River State as well. So from my own point of view, I think most of the elections, most of those rulings were they were an aftershoot of party members, say APC party members, who were perhaps going to court to lay their grievances for the party not picking them as the preferred candidate. And what we saw that played out this afternoon at Bayelsa State is not strange to the Nigerian politics.
Yes, it's not strange, but you see, if something like this has happened, I mean, we're supposed to learn from the mistakes of the past, especially if it cost us dearly.
Yes.
And it doesn't, I'm using the word us loosely here because I have no business with the APC, but in the case of the APC, the same drag happened to make them lose Rivers and Zamfara. When this whole situation started, couldn't the party or maybe the National Working Committee intervene instead of allowing it to cost them yet another election?
To be honest with you, I mean, there's a popular saying that once beaten, twice shy. But APC has been beaten countless times on this issue, and they still haven't learned. And it's so shocking. It's so shocking for me that they've not really corrected that mistakes, and they're allowing the other parties to exploit the situation and coast to victory. Because
does this also show that the cracks within the party has gone beyond being amended? Being mended rather. Is this showing that the party is breaking down for this to keep happening?
Okay, you mean for if it's showing that the APC is kind of oh well, I wouldn't say the party is breaking down because of this issue, because it's an isolated issue on its own. Even though it's an isolated issue in the sense that it borders on a particular governorship candidate in a state. So, well, in a way, it would kind of have some overreaching consequences on the general body. But then again, APC has not really. They've not really learned. So I would imagine that the APC should perhaps go back to the drawing board this time around, because there's going to be an election pretty soon in Anambra State, I think next year, and APC would likely would field candidates. I think this is a clarion call for them to go back to the drawing board and look inwardly on how they would not.
Talking about the drawing board, we've had elections were in March and April.
Yes,
they were supposed to be February and March, but the March up until now, we're in November, the year's ending in a month's time. Yes. There was a drawing board. Mm-hmm. Why didn't they go back to it? Again, if there's too many people in the party who are in disagreement, and half the time all of these cases are thrown out because they're not, or these primaries were not conducted in accordance to the party's constitution. So I'm wondering, if you are a member of the party, why do you not stick by the Constitution to save yourself all of these consequences? Okay,
first of all, to your first question about why didn't they go back to the drawing board. So I wouldn't think that APC would imagine that they would get to this particular scenario playing out again repeatedly. And secondly, a political party is a conglomeration of individuals with different idiosyncrasies. They have their different opinions, regardless of the fact that all of them find themselves in the same political party. I mean, what A would prefer or what A would find valuable or what would be A's core value might not necessarily be what would be B core values. So, and an average politician, an average Nigerian politician, an average Nigerian politician is someone who wants to do things by himself, and
but you're not an independent, and even independents have people that they work with. So you cannot be isolated when you are a member of a body, which is a political party that has rules and regulations and guidelines.
Exactly. So I'm coming there. So it behoves on the party this time around, because the party is supposed to see these things. It's an organization. It's an association. It has laid down rules and regulations. So if there are individuals because rules and regulations are not just broken just in a split seconds. There would have been cracks, there would have been issues, there would have been perhaps signs, that would show that, oh, this thing would happen. I mean, they ought to have, taken care of those signs before it's materialized to this. Okay, see, for example, what is happening in Edo State. They're having cracks. Although I'm here to see PDP. I wouldn't know, because I've tried, looking out for whether Edo State has a PDP candidate. I'm here to see a PDP candidate. But if what is playing out in Edo State at this point in time, if there is a credible PDP candidate, I'm afraid that candidate might exploit those cracks in APC and might coast to victory in Edo State. All
right, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by another of my guests, Dr. Olaribi. He's just standing by at the corner, and we'll continue this conversation. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like,
sleeping early.
Seize it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Right, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, no.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Thank you for staying with us. Well, we're still talking about the drama that has ensued within the APC in Bayelsa State. Apparently, the APC in Bayelsa State, as of this afternoon, has no governorship candidate for the elections that's coming up in 2 days. And I did tell you one of my guests was just around the corner, and he's here. Dosun Alaribe is a political analyst. It's good to have you join us.
Thanks for having me.
So, I was just asking my learned friend here. They say that, you know, we learn from our experiences. Experience, we say in Nigeria, is the best teacher. But I don't know if the APC has learned anything from all of these sayings.
Well, APC has nothing to learn. You see, because in the beginning, see, APC as a party was formed as a special purpose vehicle just to snatch power from Jonathan. So you don't expect anything from APC. You see, there's no defined ideology, there's nothing. So you're going to see people at each other's throats, you know what I mean? It's the winner takes all situation we have in Nigeria. So, I mean, we just came up with this Zamfara example now. Same thing playing out in Bayelsa, you know what I mean? So, well.
But one would have thought that after the Rivers case, which was really, really painful because, I mean, they lost everything, everybody lost, I mean, not just the governorship seat, but they lost every ticket that they would have learned. But then it happened in Zamfara. And then months, I was just asking him, several months down the line, when you saw that something wrong was going to happen, could there not have been a remedy of sorts to avoid this happening or dragging one another back into the courts?
Who is going to provide the remedy? See, you need,
but there is a national working committee, there is a party chairman, there's even a party leader.
Look at the party chairman as a case in point. They're having suspension galore in Edo State. I mean, so that's the person that's going to come and call people to what I know. You see, it is garbage in, garbage out. You don't expect nothing. APC is not a party.
But does this also show, paint a picture of how we are as Nigerians? Because, you know, there seems to be if it's not me, then it can be anybody else. So these political positions or these running for offices are supposed to be to serve, the purpose behind it is to serve the people, is to bring your ideas to the people on how to help them. But it looks more like it's about the politicians and not necessarily the people. So the people have somewhat been tossed out of the picture?
The people are of no consequence in Nigerian politics. We're not practicing democracy. You see, there's no ideology.
But it's a democracy that we are practicing.
No. We are practicing civil rule. This is not democracy. You see, because democracy is based on rule of law. I mean, that's the major plank of democracy. But here, you know, it's impunity. You're going to do this and get away with it. I know the people in that place. I'm connected to power. So I'm going to flex my muscle. That's what we have, you know. It is not reflective on Nigerians. It is. The system.
But these politicians are Nigerians.
Yes, no, I mean the politicians. They're different.
But they are Nigerians.
They're different
and they're cut from our different local government areas. They didn't drop from the moon. They are from amongst us, and the people who stand by them are also our brothers and our sisters. Can we really say that these people are different from us? Is that the average way the average Nigerian plays politics?
You see, Nigeria, it is the politician and the masses. The masses are there for the taking. Give them 50 naira, 100 naira, the week of rice, election time, that's all. After that, go on 4 years. I mean, the politician is all about the politician. I mean, they're not making policies. You see, I keep saying we don't have visionary people in Nigeria. We're living for the next election. We have just had 2019 election. What is on the floor now? Everybody's angling for 2023. Buhari has not even done 1 year. We're already talking about 2023. I mean, nobody cares. Look at all the roads in Lagos. They're not motorable. I mean, some idiots are already promoting somebody to go for president in 2023. I mean, give me a break here. You know what I mean?
Let's move away from the APC and talk about the PDP. Still in Bayelsa State, there was some form of a campaign. I think they had a convention there today. We'll take a look at what happened because we hear that it didn't really end well. We have a little video clip we got to show us a bit of what happened in Bayelsa State.
Mama, move. Oh boy, anyway, you want to enter first, sir?
I would want to believe that those were firecrackers. I don't want to believe that those were gunshots. But that's another political party, the opposition, the biggest opposition the APC has in Bayelsa State. And I'm thinking that was their own campaign just before the elections, and it ended up with gunfire and people running helter-skelter. Again, is this how we should be practicing politics in Nigeria in the 21st century?
The first thing you need to do is remove campaign, because nobody's campaigning. Use show of force. You see, in Nigeria, you have the politician. I'm involved. You have the politician, you have the thug, area boy, union transport, then you have the people. The politician will bring the thug to come and enforce and call you to order where they want you to go. See, that's not a campaign now. And we don't even campaign here. You see, nobody tells anybody what they want to do when they get there. Just say, hey, APC power, PDP power, hey, APC, PDP, that is the campaign. Then the musician will come on board and start playing music. And then they decide what they want to do and we go home. That's what they call campaigning. That's not campaign, you know.
When we see videos like this, Mr. Noble, and we see people running, how do we expect those same people that gunshots are being sprayed or fired at to show up at the polls to cast their votes? I mean, 2019 is about to end. Another election year, like he said, is coming in 2023. We should be getting our acts together, but instead, this is what we're seeing.
Okay. So I want to beg for... So sometimes ago, I saw a cartoon, where someone was asking a politician that despite your bad reputation in the society, you're still winning elections. What's the secret? The person replied that because the masses are myopic, because they have short memory. I mean, that's like a parody, but then again, it has deep meaning into what we see in Nigeria. I mean, these people out there who went for the PDP's campaign, and they are running away, because their lives are at risk. I mean, it's so sad. It's so shocking. It's not heard of. I mean, it's not supposed. Campaigns are supposed to be platforms where politicians come to showcase what they would offer to the people, and not a platform where people would have to run for their lives. So I think it's shocking. It's appalling. It's not something which Nigeria at this stage should be witnessing. We are ashamed of it.
Bayelsa State has been, Bayelsa rivers have been known as hotbeds when it comes to elections, electioneering, even the campaigns. On election day, there always has to be bad reports from Bayelsa State. And I'm wondering to myself, is it because the police is unable to enforce some form of decency or decorum during, before, and after the elections, or at these campaigns? Because, of course, there are a lot of police officers or security agents that will be at those places, but it keeps reoccurring. I don't know. I'm trying to coin it in a way that it doesn't sound bad. Why does it keep happening in Bayelsa State and Rivers, where we have so much violence? Okay. Is it about the people, or is it just that, I don't know?
Okay, so I don't think people have been able to explain why Bayelsa State, Rivers State, and to some extent, maybe Abia State to some, well, I think Abia State to some extent, are termed as a hostile political environment. I mean, they've not still explained the reason why, but from what we've seen around, we can say it's because of the rich deposit of oil. Don't forget that these two states are states
I'm trying to understand, because I have so much oil in my land, I wait for election days to cause mayhem and fight, grab ballot boxes.
If I may chip in there, see, you need to understand one thing. Go historical. You see, Rivers Angle has always, been voting with the mainstream. I mean, the party in power at the center, right from Shagari and all those kind of things. Look at the other end of democracy, when PDP was in power, you see, we used to return 2 million votes from Rivers State. That means from the time you do registration till the year we're going to vote, nobody's going to die, nobody's going to move, nobody's going to relocate from Rivers State. The same 2 people that registered will be the same 2 people, 2 million votes we're going to return in election time. Now, what you are saying in Rivers State now is that, Amaechi is in the mainstream now. PDP, and traditionally PDP, Rivers is PDP, Bayelsa is PDP, traditionally. You see, but now you have Tempriye Silva, Bayelsa is in the mainstream. So, you see, when you have federal mind behind you, you can come in and try to, you see, they're fighting for tough. It's just like the National Union of Road Transport in Lagos. When this one is the chairman here, this one will bring his people. Maybe he has the backing of the overload boss. You see, our politics is such that if I pick my phone now, I call my rep, he's not going to answer me. But let that thug call him, he's going to answer. Because it is that thug that's going to snatch ballot box for him on the day of election.
But all these things are done at the detriment of the people who really need government the most.
The people are not ready, like I keep saying.
How do you mean?
Let me put it this way. You see, like, you have a polling booth of 500 people. On election day, you see only 30 people come out there. Because our votes do not count. This will not count. Well, don't go and vote. Don't go and waste your time. So that's they have given us that impression already. So we don't go out to go and vote. When we don't go out to go and vote, when a polling booth of 500, only 30 people come, you have the polling agent, you have the INEC official, and you have the policeman. Then this party will bring food. Then somebody will drive around. It's first-hand experience. Somebody will drive around, just say, hey, who's our agent here? Who is the supervisor? Give him 20,000. He will give the policeman. He will give the INEC. And then they will give the opposition party agent.
This is a very strong allegation.
It is a fact.
You mean that police officers and INEC representatives take bribes?
Yes.
At polling units?
Yes.
And you have proof?
I have proof.
Okay.
I have proof.
But so you're saying that this is a systemic problem. It's not just isolated. It
is systemic. You see, I contested for Senate last election. I know what I'm talking about. You see, by the time you get to the collation center, you see, somebody has already brought money. You know what I mean? They've given the INEC collation officer, the one that they bring from the university, they will share it down the line. So anyway, I know what I'm talking about.
How do we move past this era? Will we, in the next 20 years, be able to look back and say we have grown or we've gotten better? Or are we still going to be running around in circles?
No, we just need people to come out. You see, a polling booth of 500 people, by the time you see 400 people come out to come and vote, there's little room for manipulation. But when it's only 30 people or 50 people that come out, I mean, you have 450 empty spaces. We're going to do everything to fill it up.
How do we change the mindset that, oh, well, my vote is not going to count no matter what, so they've already decided who's going to win? How do we get over that mindset for us to be able to accomplish what you're saying, come out en masse to cast our votes?
Okay, so first of all, what we need to consider is, are the government doing enough in terms of electoral policies? Are they doing enough to make sure that our votes count? Are they giving us the enabling environment to go and exercise our franchise? Are they giving us adequate security, to guarantee our safety, the safety of our loved ones, that once they go out to go and vote, they will come back, sound and safe to us? I mean, if all these things are in place, I don't think anyone will have the mindset of oh, my vote will not count. Because it's not about my vote will not count. Because not everybody has that kind of mindset that my vote will not count. So some other people have the mindset that if I go there, will I come back to my house alive?
And
So
this
and this is the responsibility of the government to provide, good structure for us in this country.
Well, I want to say thank you, Dotun and Noble, but they're not going anywhere. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, well, are the men of the Nigeria Customs Service involved in extrajudicial killings? Well, we'll get to find out when we come back after the break. Stay with us.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
He suffered equally confessed. A 500 naira they collect am.
If you no talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 I dey pay.
Is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria?
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
In addition to the insecurity in Nigeria, we're currently facing another scourge of men in uniform. Yes, men of the Nigerian Customs Service have been accused of extrajudicial killings in towns of Ogun State borders. However, the Controller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Colonel Ahmed Ali, retired, has failed to appear before the House of Representatives, who are in the process of probing this claim. And the lawmakers are not happy about this. A member of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Sikirat Ajibola, representing Idiroko and Ipokia State constituency, had petitioned the federal parliament over the alleged illegal activities by men of the NCS. Now, joining me once again, I still have in the studio Mr. Dotun Alaribibe. I hope I got it right this time. He's a political analyst, and Noble Obasi is a legal practitioner. Thank you, gentlemen, for staying with us. I'm going to start with you, Noble. I don't know what the law says concerning the customs, and where is their position of operation, and should they be involved in extrajudicial killings. I mean, of course they can carry out arrests, can they?
Yes.
But where should they draw the line, especially if a person who's being killed is not necessarily a drug baron or a kidnapper who's taking someone across the border?
Okay, so for the Nigerian custom, extrajudicial killing is not any of their responsibilities. Their responsibilities is just to check imports into the country to make sure our borders are safe. So for them going on a frolic of their own and killing innocent citizens, it's an extrajudicial killing, and it's punishable because they are going ultra-vires their power. It's not within their power to do that. As a matter of fact, it's not even within their power to threaten citizens. It is their power to make sure that the goods coming into Nigeria are safe and sound for whatever purpose it is meant for.
I know that in recent times, in fact, between 2018 and 2019, there has been 3 intercepted gun or ammunitions coming into the country. Well, recently also, it was uncovered that a certain governor had a stash in his home. I'm wondering when that investigation is going to start, but let's leave that aside. The customs, yes, makes a lot of money for Nigeria every year. But who oversees the customs officers who are on duty? Is there somebody who does that job?
Well, as far as I can recollect...
Because we know the police has a police service commission and then the army has it. But I don't know which other commission has an oversight function over the customs service.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if they have an oversight
Okay,
committee or whatever,
So if I might chip in, so the customs will fall under the Ministry of Interior.
Okay.
Yes. So, but then again, they have a controller general in the person of Colonel Ahmed Ali, retired, and so he should be, he should be the person coordinating the activities of the Nigerian custom.
Are they really coordinating the activities? Because if we're beginning to have issues such as this is an allegation which needs to be investigated.
Yes.
And just so we know, Ahmed Ali has had several times where he's been called to face either the upper house or the lower house, and he failed to show up. And there was a time that he was asked to come in the customs uniform, and he failed to wear it because he said he doesn't work with the customs, he's just heading the customs. With all of this, in the mix, can we really say the customs can be running amok, being that even its head cannot be called to order?
So that is Nigeria for you. See, like I say, we are practicing civil rule, not democracy. You see, because
a lot of people disagree with you, but go ahead.
You see, there's no respect for rule of law. You see, a committee in the House of Rep is calling Ahmed Ali to come. He's never going to show up till kingdom comes. We have the precedents now. Even the speaker called the military top brass. They didn't show up now. The only reason Ahmed Ali will show up there is if President Buhari directs him to so do. Otherwise, forget it.
But what happens to the balance of separation of powers? Every arm of government has its roles and responsibilities. Even if you are, as we know, are appointed by someone in the executive, you still are answerable to the judiciary and the National Assembly, which is the legislature. But that seems to be a bit shaky under the Buhari administration, even in the past 4 years. I'm wondering what could have been the foundation for that.
It's not about Buhari administration now. Since the advent of the Fourth Republic, it's the same thing. You see, we still have that. We have not weaned ourselves from that military system, so we're still living in that time frame, like we were under military regime. That is what is happening in Nigeria. Until we really, inculcate and cultivate the mores and the norms of democracy, we have not done that. You see, that's why there's impunity. You can't call somebody. Ahmed Ali told you cannot wear his customs uniform because he's a soldier. Simple and pure. What came out of it? Nothing.
But he's a retired soldier. If you know that you cannot wear that, I don't even want to go into it. Why do you take the job? It's a big question. But let's see some videos that were taken by random people by customs service officials as they were being harassed. Let's take a look at those videos.
I'm gonna come for Lagos. If you touch my phone, this is my phone. This is my phone. This is my phone. This is my phone. If you touch that, you will not see your pay salary. This is my phone. Touch that. Yes, I will be Nigerian citizen. I will go with this town. What is that one? Fruity. You don't keep us. You see, I'm not keep us, yo.
So, obviously, there was some form of altercation, and someone was trying to stand on their right, and then a bullet goes into the person's body, and the person is shot dead. That video is very old, just so we know. It happened a long time ago. And now the National Assembly is putting it on the table because another one has happened in Ogun State, and the people in that area have come to speak up about it. How else can this issue be investigated if the boss doesn't show up at the National Assembly? Are there other routes? In the case of the judiciary, can people go to court to, some form of, to get an authentication of this? Because right now we're basing this on allegations, claims made by people. If they have proof, can they take it to court? Because it looks like the issue with the Senate, it's not going to happen anytime soon. As a lawyer, what would you be advising the people in Ogun State and maybe the family of this young man that was shot some time ago?
Okay, first of all, for the extrajudicial killing by the Nigerian Customs. So the custom is a type of military setup in Nigeria, and they have laid down rules and regulations for dealing with errant officers. And just like the military, they will have like court martial. They will have they will have like a kind of a court martial type of settings where errant officers like that will be dealt with if there are overwhelming evidences against such officers.
So far, have they been dealt with? And it looks like
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Because right now, the National Assembly is trying to give the customs service the benefit of the doubt to come and defend itself.
Yes.
But its boss has refused to show up. How can people get some form of justice for the people or the innocent lives that have been lost because somebody's trigger happy?
Like in Nigeria, I'm sorry, the cheapest thing is life. You see, but as per investigation, it can be investigated. It can be investigated without necessarily going this route of calling custom service to the House of Assembly. You see, by calling them to the House of Assembly, the House of Reps is doing them a favor. They should come and state their own side of the case. That's what you see. But the simplest things, you turn it into. I don't know. You see, but like the family involved and maybe the lady in the House of Assembly, they can do some grassroots investigations and bring up a lot of, you can call it circumstantial, whatever,
evidence,
which can be, pursued in the court of law.
I always ask myself why on earth it would be okay for lives to be lost at the hands of people who were supposed to protect us. We're still dealing with SARS. We're still dealing with policemen killing people. And trigger-happy soldiers also, And now we have the customs added to that bill. Is this going to end anytime soon? How do we stop all of these things from happening? Because it happens and then it dies down and then another one happens and then we rehash it. Okay. Maybe, could it be that because we never really deal with the root cause of the problem, that's why it keeps raising its ugly head?
Yeah, so I think because there have not been sufficient punishment for offenders. So we've never seen any popular officer who has committed, an offense being brought to the fore for everybody to see that, oh, this guy committed this offense, he killed somebody, and now the law has taken its course and is perhaps being shot or perhaps is taken to prison, is serving life sentences in the prison. We've not seen examples like that. So until we see those evidences, until we see people being punished, until we see customs coming out, castigating their officers, sanctioning them, even sending them to prison, Until you see those things happen, until you see thorough court martial happening in Nigeria, these problems will definitely be there.
As he was speaking, I was thinking about the fine policemen who were shot by soldiers who thought that they were kidnappers and then let the kidnap kingpin go escape. I'm wondering, has something been done to those officers? Because we heard that they were going to be court-martialed, but I haven't heard anything since then. It probably has been overtaken by events.
That's the normal Nigerian style. Like he was saying, to protest him now, like, you see, we need deterrence. Once there's no deterrence, people will keep doing what they're doing, there must be punishment, it is about perception. I know if I do this, this is going to happen.
But how do you punish anyone if these people, or the people who had them, have refused to come to answer to anybody or anything? How do we deal with that? Quickly, in 1 second, we need to go.
That's where the problem is. See, because I know that the man at the top, last case scenario, we're going to do esprit de corps. It's going to be on my side anyway, no matter what I do.
But that's another allegation on Mr. President. He probably would never do that.
I'm not talking about the president now.
You mean the head
of the different agencies or whatever? They're going to support themselves now, no matter what.
But the police was out on Twitter, hashtagging and asking us to get justice for the officials. But that's a story for another day. I want to say thank you, Dr. Alari Bibe, political analyst, Noble Abasi, legal practitioner. Thank you, gentlemen, for this conversation. Unfortunately, this ends on a very gloomy note. Thanks for staying with us. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, I'll give you my take.
The House of Representatives has said it will probe the appointment of an interim management team for the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. The House, while criticizing the appointment and subsequent inauguration of the team by the Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, said the interim committee is alien to the NDDC Act and should be dissolved. The motion was raised by Nicholas Osai from Delta State as a matter of urgent national importance and wants recently screened NDDC board nominees to be allowed to resume their duties.
Interim Management Committee is turning and suspicious. Acknowledge, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, the fact that in practice, any existing vacancies in the office of the Managing Director of NDDC is usually filled temporarily by the highest directors in the order of seniorities and ranking. Suffice, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, to say that by the confirmation of NDDC governing board member by the Senate, the three-man interim management committee of the NDDC recently set up by the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs becomes vitiated, null, and void of no legal effect. Resolve, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, to urge the ministers of the Niger Delta Affairs to withdraw their appointment and the activities of the three-man interim management committee that is unknown to NDDC Act.
It's time for my take. Experience, they say, is the best teacher, but that statement can only be validated if people allow themselves to learn from these mistakes that could, help build their experience. But in the case of the APC, they seem not to have learned anything from the past mistakes of March 2019 elections, as they have found themselves in yet another pot of hot water. And they risk having no representation at this weekend's election. Again, it's a few days to elections in Bayelsa State, and it seems to be a free-for-all. Haven't we learned anything? And this free-for-all is on both sides, the APC, the PDP, gunshots at a party's campaign. How long can this cycle continue? Dear Nigerians, stop killing one another for a selfish politician. Is the blood of your brother worth that politician's ambition? Let's make the right choices. I am Mariana Cole, and it's been Plus Politics.
country people, we dey thank una one that joined us on top News on the Hour for Plus